Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? Hopefully y'all had a good weekend, had a good last week, all that kind of stuff. If you don't know me, my name is Devon Morris. I'm your guide on this journey. I'm I'm an agile coach, consultant, business owner, all this kind of stuff, right? But anyway, you all know me, right? So the point is, this show is about getting your questions answered. So if you got questions about Scrum, Agile, personal development, all those kind of things, this is the place to ask them, right? The way you do that is drop them in the comments, or you just go ahead and join the show and we can have a conversation. Now, so I don't have a topic this week. I said last week I'm not having a topic this week, and please know next week is a holiday, so we won't have a show next week on the holiday, right? So that will be an amazing, well, it won't be amazing. We'll just miss a week and then we'll start back after that. And I'll be able to probably be in a better position of determining what the topic shall be. Yeah, today I started school today. So another term, another quarter has started for me. So I had to write some stuff, read some stuff today. I had to do some of that stuff over the weekend, along with all the other family things that you need to do, right? So just doing all those kind of things, and I'm, rubbing on my bites that I got. I got bites from someplace, I don't know where, but that's okay. These things happen. But just trying to make sure I start things out right, good, all those wonderful things. If you are on LinkedIn, say hi. Check in, all right? Say what's up. If you're out here on YouTube, say what's up. Check in, right? There'll probably be a few more people joining us later. But tell me what's going on with you, right? Tell me what's going on with you, right? If you have never been here before, we here to answer questions, right? Most of the time we have a topic that we go through, and then we open the floor for the rest of the questions, and allow you to ask as many questions as you need to, and we do that pretty much until the questions die down, right? That's what we do, right? Nothing really special, but make sure you say hi. I'm gonna start it off by saying hi to Patrick, usual. Thank you for your support always, brother. Hey, I'm looking forward to the weekend, right? Rajiv, hey, what's up, Rajiv? How you doing, my friend? So we're good to go on that. Yeah, man, this is, this past week. Denise, how you doing, Denise? How's it going? Hopefully you're doing all right. Everything's going well with you. This past week, I had 2 weeks off from school, and I had to focus in on several things that were important. Changing business structure, changing our CRM system, still testing that out. Some of you all, I don't know if any of you all are on the newsletter, get the newsletter, right? If you get the newsletter, let me know. Did you like what you saw today, right? That's coming out of our new system there. So if you liked what you saw, if you get the newsletter, then let me know what you thought about it, right? If you thought it was good, if you had any problems, anything like that, I'll be checking the results of that newsletter, seeing how it's all working. And then we also are doing a re-engagement campaign with that as well. People that don't engage, I'm gonna take them off my list. So just working through that. Also, what I did, which is interesting, is I created several videos of me using Scrum, not showing you what I'm doing in terms of the actual work I was doing, but in terms of sprint planning, and then me working for 2 hours, and then sprint reviews, sprint retrospective, how that all happens, and then writing the sprint planning, me working a couple hours, and then sprint reviews and writing sprint planning. So I did a lot of that last week. I recorded some of that, so I may turn that into a video. to add to the platform. So then some people will always have questions about it. So we'll see. I kind of will throw that out there if you're interested in seeing it. So let me know if you're interested, because otherwise I won't even do nothing with that, what I recorded. I'll just put it to the side burner, just like nothing ever happened, right? But if you're interested in seeing it, I'll package it and talk about, how I go about doing Scrum in my personal life to get things, to accomplish things, right? And it's always good because people kind of know when I'm in a sprint. Hey D, how you doing? How's it going, D? And people normally know when I'm in a sprint. Hey, you got to give me time to do what's in my sprint, right? And you can get on my calendar. You can get in this next sprint, right? Family members normally respect that unless it's an emergency, right? So it's always a good thing. So doing that last week and recording that was, this week, last week, whatever. Last week was important. I had to go get my daughter all set up in school now at IU, hence the Hoosier shirt. Who's your daddy right there, right? So I wouldn't normally wear any IU stuff, but, because I graduated from Illinois. But since go to school at IU, guess what? I'm wearing a lot of IU stuff. I am a Hoosier at this point, since I got a kid there. Let's see. So I'm just going to begin this thing by asking you all, do you all have any questions? Because I'm here to answer questions. We're going to keep this going. Well, it's going to be a heck of a short today. Doesn't matter. It's all completely up to you. But anybody here get the newsletter? That's my real question, right? Any of y'all get the newsletter? Any of y'all want the newsletter that didn't get it? Any of y'all want the newsletter would be my question, right? I forget what we talked about in it. We actually talked about, I have to look it up. We talked about several good things. I have to get a copy of the newsletter. I don't send it to myself. For some strange reason, I'm over here looking at this screen that's higher than me. So y'all know I'm looking up for that reason. Let's see. Yeah, but the newsletter was fun. Yeah, so it was sent out this morning, Patrick. I don't know if you're on my list, Patrick. I tell people to sign up in one way or another. I can't guarantee that you're on the list, brother. If you specifically signed up, then you probably on the list. And then it would be people from Bearded Eagle. They're taking a class, something like that. They automatically get added to the list. And then I have a list of leads that have happened over time where some of them took a class. I don't have the data that shows what class, so they will. It was sent out this morning, so but hey, it's no problem if you want to be a part on that list. My plan is to send out every Monday morning. No, I wouldn't expect your feelings to be hurt because you know how to get in touch with me if you really want to, Patrick. So, so I'm not that far distance away from you, right? You visit Chicago and everything else, so we good to go. So, and there's no worries on that, right? And I've never seen you as a person that don't open their mouth if there's something you want, right? If you haven't gotten to the newsletter, best way to do that is to go to that website right there, and then there'll be a pop-up at the lower right hand corner, and you can sign up for the newsletter there. So just so everybody know, if you don't receive it, and the next newsletter won't go out till next Monday. Well, maybe not on Monday. We'll see, because Monday's a holiday. So should I be sending a newsletter out on Monday since it's a holiday? I gotta think about that. I like to always be in the same cycle and keep going with the same sequence, and sometimes that's not such a good thing. It is not always a good thing. My LinkedIn people, did I just kind of get rid of you on LinkedIn? I could have very well done that, know what I mean? Let's double check. I don't know, I lost my LinkedIn, folks. Let me just re-go to you. And let me re-go to the LinkedIn website. I always get this stuff confused here. So that's not always a good thing, but that's okay. I'll be trying to do my bestest to make this thing work out as expected, but sometimes I just don't do all the right stuff, and that's okay. All right? So let me drop that in the chat for everybody else there. Now, was the first newsletter today? No, it was not the first newsletter. The first newsletter probably went out. Been doing newsletters for been over a month. And I just kind of throw in 3 different top articles that people will probably be interested in. Um, if you sign up for if you go ahead and make sure that you're on the list, just go to devonmorris.com. You'll see in the lower right hand corner that if you add yourself to the list, tomorrow I'll just resend the newsletter out to people who've added themselves. Okay, just to make sure you all are on a list and everything else. You'll probably get an initial email saying, "Hey, welcome to the newsletter," that kind of stuff. But if you just go to that website and add yourself to the list, we'll be good to go. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you noticed the color change, right? Um, it's just the good thing is what I'm trying to do, Denise, is I'm trying to just kind of pepper spray a lot of career topics. You feel me? I have years ago, during when the pandemic happened, I created a mind map of all these ideas that I had in terms of career stuff. It's probably 150 different things on it. And then I started writing articles that were associated with those different ideas on that spreadsheet. And just a lot of different things, right? And realistically, that right there is what now, since I started in the pandemic, what I started doing now is taking those articles and start updating them, so then I can get them out, and then go from there. So got all these articles I wrote, wasn't doing nothing with them. I was going to start a whole program, a career development program. And I just was like, no, I think I'd rather do it this way and then do something to help people go to the next level. But I'm trying to make sure we get enough information out there so then you have enough free information so you can, do whatever you want to do, right? You don't have to spend money to get into the program I'm going to have. You can take this information and roll with it. It's kind of my thought process, right? I want to be able to give to the community, and then I also want people that want to have more access and do things, and we have something different that's gonna happen. So yeah, so that right there is crazy. And if you if you saw this thing, like if you was to take a look at that dang on thing that I created, you'd be like, this is ridiculous. And I haven't updated it. I need to update it. But when I say to you that took me so much time, it really did. And I can tell you in general, it's kind of like, let me see something. Yeah. Yeah, let me see something real quick. Yeah, so I just, it's just what I do, right? Not that I'm not trying to be crazy with what I do. It's just one of those things that's just like, this is a welcome way of doing this. Yeah, I can't show it to you all. I would show it to you, but I can't. The reason why I can't show it to you all is because then you'll have all my ideas, and I can't just let you have all my ideas up front. But I can tell you idea, at least in general, the topics that I'm covering, so you all know. And I have lots of articles for each one of these topics, right? So listen to the top. Listen to the areas. The areas is about career and job. The areas is leadership, entrepreneurship, job search, reinventing yourself. Career test, I only have one article, so I'm not even gonna count that. And then professional development. So those are really the 5 major topics that I have. And so, for example, under career development, I have things like performance management, work-life balance, communication skills, networking, conflict management and resolution. Under getting a job, I got a job, the job hunt, handling emotions, building a resume, interview, just different things, right? And so I've kind of segmented those things out to kind of put myself in a position, to put all of us in a position where I can just get this information out slowly over time. Probably I've taken 20 of these articles and put them on that website, devonmorris.com. So these articles are just sitting there, right? There are 3 that I put out on LinkedIn each week, and then from the things that have been put out in the universe, I kind of take 3 of them and give them to you in a newsletter format. And again, all those things will not be relevant to you in terms of the newsletter. It just all won't be. It's just facts, right? If you don't have a job, then it's like, and I'm telling you, hey, about a performance review, that's not going to help you if you ain't got a job, right? But then there are tons of people who got a job who are trying to really impress their boss and basically level up inside of an organization. So it is it's just one of those things where you just kind of work through various topics and make sure people are good. I like it. I like it. It's just the hard part is what the heck do you combine and what the heck do you kind of get ready to release out and making sure to improve these things, and making sure I take the time to do it, right, is what's big, right? See, you see how you treat me, Patrick? You see how you treat me, man? You got the newsletter and you acting like you didn't get the newsletter, Patrick. I was about to go look you up and see if you was in there. I'm like, Patrick has to be in this. What I'm thinking to myself, like I was confused, man. I was confused, configurated. That's what I was. I was absolutely confused, right? So I did not understand. I was not clear. I was just in the la-la's land. You understand? So, no, we all good, right? We all good. So we'll continue that. We'll continue that journey. So that was a fun one, right? If I was to, let's see, let me go over here. And some people, this is let's see, can I preview this? I don't know if it let me preview it. Let's preview it. Yeah, that's a preview. But all those links. Yes, we are all good. Even if we weren't, even if you didn't get it, we still was gonna be all good because we was just gonna make it good, Patrick. That's what we do, right? That's what we do. So that just is what it is. But the good thing is that those things are out there. We'll keep. Oh man, I actually have 4 letters. Oh, the revisit, the revisit. Yeah. It does. It does read at the top. It does read at the top that way, right? The one from today reads at the top that it is the newsletter. I didn't see that on the others. No, the other ones didn't say that. And the reason why I did that, Denise, is because I needed to change. Right now, I've switched over to a new email marketing system, so I can get this stuff out to you. And because of that, and because I knew that was a possibility, I didn't do everything in the other one that I'm doing now. And I wasn't sending it off as a newsletter, even though I was thinking of it ahead as that. I didn't brand it that way. So really, it is a feedback loop. It's my agile way of improving, right? And so that stuff that you got before, like a good example is in this newsletter, you didn't get a little blurb or a little actual link to this show. So that's something I'm gonna have to improve next time because I didn't put anything that says, "Hey, go and subscribe to the show," And so that is another improvement that needs to be in email. I completely forgot about it, but it just goes back to it's just the feedback loop happen constantly, and the real question becomes, how does it perform? How many people open it up? People are getting free advice here, and I think a lot of it is really solid, right? Because I know I took some good time writing many of these things, right? And so it definitely is something that, it is a work in progress, but every week, send it out, make some mistakes here, make some mistakes there, and then I make it better, right? So I'm just using I'm using my classic agile way of doing things of, hey, go ahead. It may not be, you're not going to get everything right. It's probably not going to be perfect. Well, go ahead and make it better. Just make it better. Just make it better. Just make it better. And so I definitely will make it better, because this time, I'm about to write myself a note right now about it, to make sure I add a couple things, right? So if y'all got any comments about it, you're welcome to tell me, right? And I'll go ahead and, look at that as improvement because you know who my audience is here. You all are my audience, right? And at the end of the day, the question becomes, you're like my alpha, beta test, sprint review feedback, right? So the idea is that If I'm missing stuff, I'm definitely missing stuff, and you all can let me know that, right? And so I know that I'm missing the link to the show, so that's a true statement, right? Completely forgot about it. I mean, literally, I forgot about it, right? Making sure I keep the title of a newsletter at the top of it because I didn't have that before, and that was a definite big difference. But again, that difference became because I switched CRM systems or email marketing systems, right? And that right there is the reason why I changed, or at least I put the word newsletter at the top. And you know what the thing that's crazy is? I never thought about doing that before. I literally never thought about doing it before. So it is one of those things where with the change in this system, it made me think about putting that little blurb at the top, and a little small blurb at the bottom of the newsletter, to make it better, right? So yeah, I think it works. So you are, so I'm glad it's good. I'm glad you like it. This is good, right? Look, here's the deal. my Rajiv, who works with me, he asked me, can I take all the past newsletters and send them out? And like the ones from the old system, I can't send those out. So the new one here, I probably would have a better shot at resending some of those out if I needed to, just in case somebody really needed it, right? But the past ones, those are done, right? Once I change systems, it's done. I can't recreate those, right? But all the articles out there, right? All articles out there, right? So that's the good thing. And Denise, you are very welcome. One of the things is that I do try my best to get back to this community. This community has put me in a big position to do what I'm able to do, and I wouldn't be able to do it without the vast majority of you all, to be honest with you, right? So, that's just facts, right? I am nothing by myself. So that is just truly what it is, right? So I'm glad you getting some value out of it. I will continue to do my best at doing it. I may miss a time here or there. If I do, nothing against nobody. My heart is in it, that, right? So we had to just keep it going, right? And we will, no question, right? I just got to write some more articles. I don't have to write any more articles. I got to update some articles. I got to update some articles, right? You got okay, good, CT. I'm glad you got the newsletter. Okay, good. Okay, y'all ever have feedback on the newsletter, just let me know. If I get a consensus of things, that'll be, we'll change some things up. Try to send them out on Mondays because that's the start of the week. And then I make sure I haven't started advertising any place else, so anybody else come get the newsletter. I'm starting off with this community first, and then what we have in terms of Bearded Eagle and the DM Limited stuff that I have. So making sure that we get these things together here first, and then I'll start taking that stuff elsewhere. Like I'm putting things out on LinkedIn. Like I'm letting people know that these articles are available on LinkedIn 3 times a week. And then putting other success stories out there and other things associated with whatever's going on, whatever I'm doing. So that stuff is just kind of shaping itself up. But the idea is that I don't plan on stopping, because I just want to build a whole library of stuff, right? My expectation is we got how many more months left this year? Well, we got, let's say 4 more months left. Let's count 4 weeks in those 4 months. Here's my expectation, right? My expectation is that if I take the 4 weeks in each month, times that times 4 months, that's 16, and then times that times 3 articles. My plan is to legitimately do 48 to 50 more articles by the end of the year. Because I literally got that stuff just sitting there. But I got to do the updates. So 48 to 50 more articles is what I'm thinking about doing by the end of the year, right? And again, to me, it doesn't always seem like basic stuff, but it's basic stuff that we all know. Some stuff is reminders, some stuff is major pluses. But that's my expectation: 40 to 50 more by the end of the year. That's the expectation, and they will be, going in the newsletter, stuff like that. So it's nothing but goodness. Man, I'm trying, y'all, for real. I really am. You are the man. Hey man, I gotta keep churning. I gotta keep going, right? I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going, right? I'm trying. I'm trying. And until I'm not breathing anymore, I'm gonna keep trying, right? You think about what we do. A lot of us here, we're blessed to really be able to use our mind. We're knowledge workers, you know what I'm saying? And so until my mind can't do it anymore, it's on. It's on and popping. Seriously, it's on and popping. Yeah, but until my mind can't do it anymore, right? So I said that's how we're gonna rock that one, right? But that newsletter is a special thing for me. It really is. So we'll just keep getting stuff out there for folks, and then the other thing that I will start doing is putting things out there, like the Splitting Strategies guide. I just recently ran into my, I've created so many things over the years. It's ridiculous, right? I was looking up. I had created at one point, because back in the day, we didn't have all these fancy tools, so I had to use Excel to create a lot of stuff, right? And so I created a dynamic burn up, burn down chart where you can build it any way you choose. I called it the Dud chart, right? And I recently found it. Like stuff like that, it should be out there in the world, right? Yeah, it should be out there in the universe, right? And people be thinking I'm joking about this stuff, but I'm not joking at all. I literally am not even close to joking. Literally, when I say to you, a dynamic burn up, burn down chart, if I was just to put it right there, and then I just was to go here and let me see if I can share. I'm gonna have to switch this over to, you're gonna see a bunch of stuff on my screen, so no worries. But when I change over to my other one, secondary here, you'll see the Dud chart, literally. And it was this chart right here that would create burn ups and burn downs dynamically. And these types of burn ups. But you can see I ain't touched this thing since 2017. And all the information that goes into it. Right? Just what I've just always have done over the years. You feel me? It's just always been that way, right? And so stuff like that I just have in the archives, right? It's just like I have earned value management. I have a way to do EVA using story points, right? I've had it for years, right? I don't use it anymore. But some of you all may get some value out of something like that, especially if you work in a project management heavy shop that still thinks in earned value management. It could be helpful for you. And so those things, I'm gonna have to go into the archives and start figuring out how to pull some of those things out, and make them available to you. And then, you're just gonna have to go grab it somewhere. Most of you all that's already on my list, you just put your name in there and do it again, and you'll be able to grab that kind of stuff. So it's all, it's just all good stuff, man. It's all good stuff. Let's see. We got a question here. Denise got a question, right? I have a question. What are your thoughts about case studies without identifying the actual company? Does this hurt in regards to credibility? I see, I was looking at a case study today, and they called the company Consult. Okay. I don't think there's a company called Consult. And so I think case studies that don't have the actual company and people you can contact in the company, I think that those things are okay. I really do. The problem is that people can't confirm it, but a lot of times, most of the things that happen within organizations, especially large ones, don't only happen in part of the organization. And so it's not the whole company that's had this major benefit in a lot of cases. And if it is one of those things, they normally start doing presentations and start letting everybody know about their own success. So for me, I've seen many case studies without the real company name in it. And there's many reasons why that can occur. And I'm okay with it. But I look at most case studies as being anecdotal evidence that this worked at this particular company, but is that repeatable? If can somebody else do exactly what you did and get the same exact results? Can you replicate what that case study did? And so a lot of times what I find, at least in our space, is that the case studies aren't necessarily replicable, right? So that's the only place where I would have a concern. But I think that in terms of understanding the experience of what happened in a particular company, I think that's absolutely valuable. Do I need to know the name of the company that it happened in? I don't, but knowing the industry, if like I didn't know the industry that it happened in, I'd question it at that point. But understanding the company, some companies legally just don't want to do that, legitimately. So I think it's fine as long as I know the industry. It's fine. So that happens. Let's see. In my experience, there are a fair amount of companies that want to remain private, yes, and don't want it put out there that they received help on a certain thing. Well, I would say to you, my experience has been they don't want negative press, right? That negative press, because everything didn't work well, right? Everything didn't go perfect. So if everything went perfect, then it's probably unrealistic. So a lot of people don't want to be just lined up with that particular thing. And some of these studies, people read them 17 years later and read them like it just happened. So, case studies just have, this unique element to them. I love them, being a part of, graduate schools. You definitely see lots of case studies. But I find that most companies do want to remain private. I really do. Which I think is fine. I think it's perfectly fine. It's about the lesson more than anything else. And hopefully the authors of the case study have credibility. If they do, then it's okay. That's okay. At least I don't find a problem with it. I wouldn't, yeah. Yep, at the end of the day, all you want is the knowledge from the lessons learned, right? So the company name really doesn't matter. Yeah, and I'd agree with that, right? And that's what you're in it for, is for that. If you want more than that, then I don't know what you're looking for. Because it's the lessons that's important. It's the knowledge that you gain from that company's experience, understanding that you may try what they tried and you may not get the same results. It doesn't guarantee success, but at least give you options on things to think about, especially if it lines up with your industry and what you all do as a business. That definitely is pluses. You want to see other people take the plunge before you, and I think that's major. I really, really do. You are very welcome, Denise. I think that's a plausible question, right? Other thoughts, other questions? Yeah, I was just talking about the newsletter the entire time. So other questions, I'm just writing down notes and everything else, just trying to make sure I'm good to go. Other thoughts, other questions? My LinkedIn folks, I don't see nothing coming from you. I usually don't check Facebook. I'm sorry, Facebook, if there's people on Facebook, right? I just don't usually go to Facebook. I'm actually gonna type it in now and see some. Not that I expect anything interesting over on Facebook, but I hate it. I gotta log into it. I don't like all that stuff when you gotta log into things. Yeah, and it's asking me for a notification. I ain't got my phone with me. Ain't that crazy? So I can't even get the thing to do it, right? So anyway, the point is, sorry, Facebook people. So, all right, other questions, other thoughts, any ideas, y'all? Other questions, other thoughts. I'm very happy, though, that you all are getting a newsletter. Right? I expect almost everybody here to be getting a newsletter, so that is a good thing. That is just definite pluses. I told myself I created a new list where I'm going to start doing some more challenges. I did a challenge before that went really well. I enjoyed the challenge, so I want to do some more challenges as well. I was thinking about having challenges that was focused on career stuff. Thinking about some element of career stuff, professional development type stuff, and then doing a challenge specifically in that arena. And it's like trying to get everybody to have a boost of something, a boost of something, a boost of something, right? A boost of whatever this is, right? So and then spend 5 days working on something. You ain't got to spend all 40 hours of that. You ain't got to spend every hour doing it, but you think you spend an hour a day trying to do something to make it better, and ultimately you get better at it. That would be the objective. So we may go back to challenges at some point, definitely starting 2025 for sure. But I'll just be flowing, y'all. Y'all just gotta tell me what you want, and we can figure it out. What are you interested in? What are you interested in is the question. Yeah, I'm interested in a little bit of everything. I'm a history buff. I like stuff. I like learning. I do, right? So I put a a post on LinkedIn saying, knock knock, I use Scrum for fitness, right? I don't know when the post went out there, right? But somebody I know basically told me, well, I suggest you're really using Kanban for fitness. I can provide examples. Now, here's the deal. I know this guy, right? So how you going to tell me what I'm doing in terms of fitness? I'm using Scrum, actually. I'm not using Kanban. So I love the internet, right? Because you can say whatever you want to. You can say whatever you want to. Is I was about to say. I'm going to say it anyway. You can say whatever you want to and not get punched in the mouth, right? You really can, right? And so nobody's going to aggress you because you said something, okay? And it's just like, hey, I use Scrum for fitness. It'd be a difference if I didn't know Scrum. Like, am I doing ideal Scrum? Absolutely not, right? It makes no sense for me. Like, a perfect example of me doing Scrum for fitness. I'm the only person that's doing the workout, right? So Scrum Fit works for me, not Kanban Fit. You see Patrick say Kanban Fit? Nah. You know what I'm saying? Nah. And so here's the deal, right? I'm the product on the Scrum Master and developer. You feel me? I can't get somebody else to work out for me and me get the benefit. I just can't. I can't have somebody develop it for me and do the work for me and me get the benefit. I'm the one that's concerned about it, and I'm the one that's interested in doing Scrum. So I play all three roles. Is that Scrum butt? Yeah, but is that what I'm going to do? That's what I'm going to do, right? Is some of the events collapse together, like sprint review, sprint retrospective, and sprint planning. A lot of times for me, that's collapsed together. I do them in order, but the sprint review and sprint retrospective, I crush them together. Because for me, the feedback on what I did and the feedback on the process is just me quickly thinking through it. So it makes it hard to have a line when the thinking through it part is so quick, right? And then sprint planning, I'm already thinking about what I plan to do next. Well, I got to figure out the goal and figure out how I'm going to work that goal. Am I going to write every single task on a card like this? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend the time doing it because, again, those things are non-value add but necessary, and Scrum doesn't require you to do them. So, is it perfect Scrum? No. But I'm time boxed. I'm doing monthly sprints. So to say I'm doing Kanban is, I love them. I love them. But I'm actually doing Scrum. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's fun. I like it. I love it. Hey, that's the perfect, Denise, that's the perfect statement there. Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh is what I should say, right? Ain't nobody going to tell me what I'm doing. I mean, look, if I'm having let me ask y'all a question, right? If I have a time box sprint that's a month long, calendar month long, every month is not equal in terms of time. Am I really doing Kanban at that point? Come on. Yo, you all are educated well enough to let me know. Am I really doing Kanban if I'm having monthly sprints? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, Dad. Am I crazy? I don't think I am. I don't think I'm in. And any of you all that's been around me for a period of time know that I do scrum fit. I even wear the shirt sometimes. That is hilarious, man. That is hilarious. I love it. I love it. I love when people debate me on stuff that they don't know about. It's like me saying, well, hey, you know what? Today I realize I'm black. And you tell me, no, you're not black, you're brown. Okay. All right. We can debate this if you like to. There's maybe reasons why I would want to call myself that, right? But in general, African American doesn't work very well in this globalized world. Just all kinds of stuff. So the point I'm making is I'm an American. It is what it is. But to tell me anything else is silly, right? It really is. But legitimately, if I'm doing sprints, come on now. That is the most fundamental element of Scrum. I can do everything else wrong. The one thing I can't do really wrong is sprints. If I do sprints wrong, and I get rid of sprints, then I'm probably not doing Scrum at that point. Kanban is continuous flow. So sprints is not a thing, right? Am I right or am I right, y'all? Anyway, y'all have any questions? I'm over here just talking. I'm just talking. I'm doing my thing. I'm gonna double check over here with my folks over there. So yeah. So anyway, if you just come in, you're welcome. We're answering questions at this point in time. If you have questions, please drop them in the comments, or you're welcome to go ahead and hey man, holler at me on the video, man. Holler at me on the video, so we can do that. It's up to you though. Just let me know in the comments if you want to join me on the video. But yeah. I'm having a blast as usual. Okay. Other questions? Any other questions, y'all? Any other questions? What's y'all plans for the holiday? The holiday's this weekend, right? So what's y'all plans? Any big plans for this weekend? Any big plans for this weekend? I know I'm gonna, get out of the Midwest, get back down south. So for sure, hopefully the weather is not gonna be atrocious. I'm gonna go ahead and get back down south though, right? And spend some time with family. I may have to make a stop though. I gotta have a conversation. I'm supposed to be going. I don't know, man. I be traveling and doing stuff, and it just be like, I need to do a little bit of that too. So it makes it interesting. I love it though. All right, y'all. So any other questions? Let's see. Quiet weekend. I see. If I can get a cricket game in, I mean, where do you watch cricket at, man? What channel is that? Tell me, you had to have a special sports channel, Patrick? Because that right there, cricket don't just come on. I mean, I've seen cricket come on ESPN 2, right? But I haven't seen much cricket come on the television. So I'm assuming that you are a rich man and you pay for some special services. I'm just saying, you do, Patrick. You do. Don't pretend. You do. Right? All right, so question. What's the value of combining Scrum with Agile-centered PMP approaches in tech and design-related job opportunities? Man, okay. CT, let me say it to you this way. I'm going to be real, right? Now, I got my PMP in 2005 when I got my CSM. I got my PMP in September 2005 and my CSM in October 2005, right? So now, I've been in the game for a while, right? Your question, what's the value of combining Scrum with Agile-centered PMP approaches in tech and design-related job opportunities? Most, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I'm going to put to the side this statement. The PMP has been a top 10 IT certification for decades. So the market value of the PMP is extraordinary, always been off the chart. What does that mean? The PMP is directly associated with project management, which means that the project management remains in high demand. So if the PMP is in high demand, project management remains in high demand. There's not too many organizations that don't have a job title called a project manager. There's not too many organizations on the planet Earth, right? So you have a plethora of project managers out there working in every single industry, right? Tech included, okay? Now, here's the statement. If companies hold the PMP in such high esteem, they are likely using project management principles, specifically the knowledge areas associated with what PMI would consider across project management, but within an organization. A perfect example, when you say here, what's the value in combining Agile-centered PMP approaches? Forget Agile-centered, just take that off of PMP, right? Because PMP doesn't say it's Agile or not Agile, right? It has a certain process and you follow its process, right? But let's talk real quick about one thing. And you tell me, because you took the CSM class, did you learn this in the CSM class? And do you think it's valuable? Stakeholder management. Is there value in terms of stakeholder management? Well, PMBOK speaks on it. PMP kind of validates that you have some of that experience doing that. And there's not an organization that I've ever been in where, as a Scrum Master, I was not able to use my PMP to help me navigate the organization and do a much better job at getting things out the door. So I've always found my PMP to be extremely valuable in the navigation of an organization, especially across the various knowledge areas that exist. So for me in particular, the PMP was the thing that I had actually before Scrum, that I studied before Scrum, that I gained a lot of experience in before Scrum, so I can get that PMP, and Scrum was what I paired with it. My first two jobs was Project Planner, and then Agile Project Manager, and the third one was Agile Project Manager. Agile Project Manager. If I go out to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, you will find the Scrum Master title under Technology or IT Project Manager. Let me say that again to you, right? Because they'll give you these alternative titles for a job description, and an alternative title, an alternative thing to look, something adjacent or connected to. An information technology project manager is a Scrum Master. It doesn't say Scrum Master at the top of the bill. It says this is one of the other things that you may consider being a part of that, right? Patrick pulls out a really big one here, risk management. Tell me where in Scrum, where in Agile in general, who the heck talks about risk management? I know scaling stuff pulls these kind of things in because they know it makes sense, right? But when you start going into larger organizations, you got to deal with things, right? And so, when you talk about, when I say to you, hey, we're going to avoid a risk, we're going to mitigate a risk. Where did I get that information from? Where did I get the information from? I got that from the PMP in terms of how to classify it in my head. I'm not saying it didn't exist prior to the PMP, but what I'm saying to you is, realistically, I don't know, in terms of how the PMI has made PMP the de facto standard, and how that de facto standard has become common lexicon in companies. Common lexicon in companies. Does that make sense? Common lexicon inside of companies, right? if I was to go and say to myself, hey, you know what? How do you want to deal with these risks? I know in my head, avoidance, retention, transferring and mitigating. I know in my head those things. But where did I get those things from? PMP. Who standardized them, right? And I may have said some of those things wrong, but who standardized those things? This across almost every organization. PMI did. So you're saying, if I understand the value correctly, as it relates to ensuring the work is done in Scrum, stakeholder management isn't directly highly important. However, impediment removal is super important. Yeah, I agree with that if I'm only thinking Scrum. But now, let's say you have a stakeholder that's having a fit about something. I can call them an impediment, but that doesn't say how I need to deal with that stakeholder. That doesn't help me to understand that I need to deal with the stakeholders at all. Does that make sense? And so realistically, Scrum, you got to understand, CT, Scrum says in its very, Scrum guide on the last page, it always says that Scrum works well as a container, really to be connected to other things. So this is one of the other things that I connect Scrum to. I do. I always do. I always have. I probably won't change that, right? And so realistically, PMI standardized the lexicon across corporate America. If you go to Europe, they got Prince, right? But across the world is PMP, PMI as a standard. And even Prince 2 or whatever don't compare. It just don't compare, okay? Most impediments need to know the right stakeholder. I agree with that, right? And then understanding how to remove impediments. Your RACI chart points you in the right direction. Well, where does a RACI chart classically get brought up at? Not in Scrum. Not in Scrum. Scrum doesn't say nothing about that. Scrum doesn't give you a clue, right? So I have always found super value in me having project manager mindset. You got to remember, a project manager's job is to get the project through the door. By default, most of you guys are working on projects. Like literally, you're working on temporary entities. That's what you're doing. You're working on a temporary something, right? So projects are temporary in nature, and most of you all are working on a temporary something, right? And the skills that they provide in terms of, at least that they talk about and say you should have in terms of the PMP, I've always found to be valuable. Now, I'll ask any PMP in here, do me a favor. Are you planning to keep your PMP or get rid of it? Just type it in the comments. Okay? Because I just renewed my PMP. I even renewed the PMI ACP, right? Just because. But I just renewed my PMP. So, you PMPs in the room, are you keeping your PMP or are you getting rid of it? When the cycle time comes, right? When the cycle time comes. So there you go. Patrick, I know, got a PMP. He's keeping his, and the other ones he have, right? The other PMI related ones. He's keeping all of his, right? You said Prince 2 does not compare to PMP. I know PMP has so many ways to address things, but aren't most of these not even used in many organizations? I mean, no. I would say no to that. I would say to you firmly, you can talk about, okay, so here's the thing, right? People are playing Jedi mind tricks on you to some degree. Risk management, managing risk is in every effort. How you manage risk might be different, but it's in every effort. There's risk in every effort. How you deal with that risk is something. Stakeholder management, that's in every effort. How you deal with stakeholders is going to be different. So this is used all the time, whether you specifically called it out or not. I can't name to you, if I think about the PMBOK, those knowledge areas, I can't name to you one that is not used, right? The knowledge areas and process groups, I can't name to you one that's not used. I may not think about it. I may not actively work through it, but I always can identify it. I always can. I would love to be the true agilist and say no to that, right? But the fact is, inside the companies that I work inside of, especially big companies, there's project management stuff happening all around me. And because I'm a project manager at heart, because I've learned all that stuff, it makes it easier when I walk into a company to navigate the company. Like, I'm like, okay, so Patrick, answer this question here, right? Does it make it easier for you having a PMP when you walk into a company brand new? For me, it's always made it easier for me. It's just always have. I don't have to know all the things that the company produces, but it always has, right? And the only people that classically don't think this way is the people that don't have a PMP, or the people that's upset at PMI for some strange reason, right? I'm not upset at PMI. I ain't got no reason to be upset at them. They've done good by me. I don't have my PMP, but my wife and I intend for me to eventually get one. Yes, I've told you since you took class with me, brother, go get your PMP. Like, legitimately, I've never told somebody not to go get their PMP unless it didn't make any sense for them. They was doing something completely different. But I would say at all times, go get your PMP. That language will never change for me, right? Will never change for me, right? This is good. Yeah, please. It is. I'm being real with you, man. I don't know, like, the value. I can't express to you the value of my PMP. Now, some people will bah humbug this, but I'm telling you, man, I've worked in a lot of companies, and I've never said to myself, this PMP was wasting my time. PMP was wasting my time, right? And Patrick adds this additional thing. Yes, it does. It carries a level of respectability, but it equips you with the knowledge to see and solve a lot of things. And that's the key there. It equips you. Now, look, here's a fact, right? The PMP is not giving you the experience associated with these things. But for the areas that you weak in, the PMP tells you what you should know. Minimum, right? As Patrick says here, it goes beyond the processes and gives you the bigger picture. And you can consider the bigger picture. And there's been so many times when I was a young Scrum Master that I didn't consider the big picture, and it bit us at the end. Me kind of saying, forget this PMP, forget this project management stuff, we're going to just go do some Scrum, and not thinking about all those other things. But as Patrick said, the bigger picture. Crushed. That's what happened to me. Crushed, right? We end up missing something. It happens, man. But I say this, man, look, go out and experience it yourself. Go and pretend like project management stuff doesn't exist inside of a big enough organization. Just pretend like it never happened on the planet Earth. And let me know how it went for you. That is crazy. So yeah, I definitely would say, please, investigate it. It's not for everybody. But I wouldn't be where I am today without that PMP. That is just facts, right? That is just facts. But I'm gonna answer this real quick, right? How does Scrum and PMP connect the roles like organizational development, learning, design? They don't connect. They're all different stuff, right? Scrum and project managers, you gotta remember PMP is a certification, right? All that stuff can go across all these things. And me as a Scrum Master or as a project manager, I've always had the ability to make sure that all these other areas are lined up so we can be successful. That's how I would look at that question. How do they work? How do they connect with those roles? I'm making sure we're all aligned to have success. That's what it boils down to for me. Does that make sense? So for me, that's the value in it, right? Is my ability to help everybody get in alignment with things that make sense, with the software development that we're doing, especially if that's our focus, and other areas that don't touch software development. So for example, when I worked at Motorola, I was working on Moto Maker. Moto Maker is a software. It has nothing to do with the hardware. Well, we got to connect with the hardware at some point, right? And so who helps to make sure that we're all connected and that we're aligned? Somebody got to. And the Scrum Master doesn't know to do that, then guess what? You're gonna be behind a rock in a hard place, right? So yeah, it's important. It's important. Let's see. I had a feeling that a lot of those roles show up uniquely, requiring sort of mixtures of experience, even certifications. Yeah, it's like building a house, man. You know, what does the general contractor have to do with the plumber and the electrician and the carpenter? Everything. Everything. They may not be doing that specific job, but they're making sure that everything's aligned. So when I look at a project manager or even a scrum master, I look at them as people that in their own different kind of ways helps to make sure things get aligned in some kind of way. I'm not saying that they're doing the work, but helping things to get aligned in some kind of way, right? So that we can be successful, okay? So, all right, y'all, I think that's it for us. Good questions, kind of batted them up toward the end. So, next week, no show. I think next week is holiday, no show, right? Then after that, so 2 weeks from now, we're going to get back at it. We're going to do the show again. At that point, I should have a topic, right? But other than that, make sure you be ready to bring your questions. This is always a good conversation. Make sure you enjoy your holiday. Thank you, Denise. Patrick, enjoy your holiday. CT, enjoy your holiday. Rajiv, enjoy your holiday. And everybody out there who didn't show their face in the actual comments, make sure you enjoy your holiday. Make sure it's a safe holiday. Make sure that you spend time with those that you love dearly, right? And then I'll see you a couple weeks from now, Monday at 8 p.m. Other than that, you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your week. I'll see you sometime soon. Peace.